Hey, what's going on, everyone? Astrology Eric Rosen here, and welcome to Celestial Conversations from Chaos to Clarity. This is the weekly astrology horoscope where I go into the astrology to pull out those macro pieces, if you will, on what to really pay attention to. It's a really busy week. I really want to get to it, but before I talk about that, I do want to say if you want to get a personal astrology reading, you want to get the natal chart ebook that I offer, or even the new text service that I'm doing, where if you have a follow-up question, if you've already had a reading with me or you're studying your astrology and you have a specific question, this is a great service for that. There'll be a master link down below for that. So let's talk about this week, shall we? This show, it's all about transcending the chaos, right? Like, what are the innovative steps that you can take to master your reality, to pour your passion into actually creating a life that is truly worth living? And that is really what this astrology is about this week. We've got the Sun and Uranus meeting. This is the last time this is going to do this. It's been doing it since 2018. If you want to hang around for another 80 years, you'll see it again, but this is the last Sun-Uranus conjunction that we're going to see. This is a graduation date. This is a bonus level, if you will, for those that have stuck around and have really committed to their value systems, transcending self-worth issues, blocks, doubts, hesitations, even laziness, or even just the, stubbornness and resistance to change, that you've been evolving, that you've been understanding the art of creation, of manifestation, the really crazy spiritual lessons that come up in relationships and around money situations, and, higher qualities of relationships and tribe and community, higher quality ways of manifesting prosperity. Like, this is where you get to give yourself a pat on the back. Hopefully some positive surprises are coming for you, like for that more brightness, exponential breakthrough, this like quantum field of energy where we can actually receive in that feminine energy that is Taurus, like for all the positive stubbornness, the consistency, the unyielding nature of staying committed to what we know in our hearts is truly valuable. Also, we do have Venus that is coming out of its shadow period this week in Aries. It is trining over to Mars and Leo. Venus being the ruler of that Taurus energy. This is really about taking action, be consistent, go forth in this new sense of you learned a lot. That Venus retrograde period that was from March 1st, April 12th. We've been doing the integration walk since then. So this is about not looking over the shoulder, looking back. It's not going back into Pisces anytime soon. This is about going forth and prospering in a way that we haven't before, where it deals with taking action. Remember, Neptune's here, it can produce being persuaded by our subconscious, ego and hesitations and things like that. The best bet is to put it out there. That Venus making that trine over to Leo, it's simple. Create your best life. Put your passion out there. Know what you're good at. Know your fucking worth. Saturn at the very end of Pisces, 29 degrees. It's leaving on the 24th. That's yesteryear. But, there's lessons from it. There's beautiful spiritual lessons that we've been learning. And the nice thing is that it's a dream weaver. This is where that Saturn that's going to make a sextile over to that Sun, finishing up in Taurus season this week, and Uranus, like, weave the dream now. Don't wait for the future. You should be on it. You should be consistent with it. The hesitations are just going to be the fears that are showing you what to alchemize into the next step, that actually a lot of your past lessons, your hardships, are actually showing you that that's meant to feed into your motivation for your creation and even an expression of it, especially the vulnerability piece of those things too, not wallowing in the victimhood. But Jupiter making a sextile over to Chiron, it's like, talk about it, have conversations, express it. Like, what are the wounds and the things that you've been learning to master, and walk with the limp, and the sacrifices that you've had to make. Tell that story. That Jupiter's making a square over to that North Node. So it's like, there is some dharmic, positive North Star energy in mining what came from the past and the wisdom of those lessons. And so in a lot of ways, we're meant to be like really creating our dreams and not falling victim to any like low lethargic energy, deception, darkness. Remember, there's a lot of treachery, low frequency stuff that tries to hijack our attention, right? There's things that are trying to sabotage and try to hold us in that container of that old world. It's very much Ed Harris at the end of the Truman Show being like, no, come back, stay in the dome, stay in the fiction, instead of going outside and exploring that unknown and finding the love that is out there. Mercury in Taurus is squaring over to that Mars and Leo. So we don't want to like hesitate and be stubborn because we're worried about a relationship, a money situation. We're afraid to express ourselves. It's like, be intense in the expression. Like be stubborn for expressing the thing. Like, don't go for drama just for the sake of drama because it's out of like frustration because something in your reality is like feeling blocked or not moving. Like, you got to know like what's your playing field, what's your kingdom, what you speak to. Like, it's like, get out of gossip this week. Sign a star of that. Get out of the dopamine hits. Get out of like anything that really is just taking you to fucking stimulus, never land, with that Jupiter making a trine over to that South Node in Virgo that's just keeping us busy, and it's creating, basically just weaving a stockpile of negative stories about what's going on in our reality because maybe there's some procrastination afoot, but it's like the productive procrastination. That could also even be too of like doing too much of our old system approach to how we do things, right? It's that South Node in Virgo. It's not about the activity. It's North Node in Pisces. It's about the essence of the spiritual energy that you're putting out. And so with that North Node in Jupiter, it is saying, hey, behavioral changes subconsciously, your patterns, is your best friend. That is what's going to change the reality. It's not the activity. It's not, did you do your amazing to-do list today? Were you busy, and did you work 10 or 12 hours? It doesn't matter, because that's like the old reality that's like fading away, where it's like, God already said you don't need to like plow that field no more. You don't need to like trim those leaves. Like, he said, go over here. Like, this is your zone now. These are your values. I've shown you what's going to make you happy and vibrant and successful. Don't worry about that thing, especially if it feels like some schedule, routine, 9 to 5 thing. Now, the South Node, it's like, you can't get away from it completely. It shows up, right? I'm not saying like go quit your job, and do some like big flamboyant Jerry Maguire move, blow things out of proportion. The truth is if you're, the way I see it, if you're meant to like exit a job situation or some like day-to-day life Virgo thing that's not meant to be there, it's gonna happen by default. That spirit like phasing you out. So like, don't worry about that. But it's more so about finding the courage to commit to like what it is that you feel called towards. This is about, I call this astrology like getting out of like the fat Thor phase. Like, for anyone that feels like they're lagging, it's like, okay, yeah, stuff's happened, blah, 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 blah. It's not about going into the victim story with Jupiter sextile Chiron and like blowing up some story about, how we can't or we won't, or getting like angry or having a story over a fucking stupid trigger that is just the mind like almost like creating facts or just like mismatching facts. Like, the only facts that like really matter is like, hey, like, how's the progression of your kingdom creation going and the things that you're creating going into this awesome new world. I've been saying this for weeks now, like, we're in this highly creative zone where it's like the way through leaving this old world that we're leaving and going into the new world, and this onboarding process that we're in. It's like, practice the passion now, be more out there, more in the external, more extroverted, more expressive and creative, and like sharing the things, having the conversations, because I can feel like a soul that's like getting left behind. If we're like staying in like some, I just don't want to deal with that, or I don't want to deal with that, or I'm going to just like stay in like my hermit phase. You know, I put the the earth and water signs on notice the other day too. And I just want to remind everyone too, like, if you're still getting hung up on like what, well, my sign, or my Mars is here, or my Venus is here, this transit, like, that South Node Virgo stuff of like piecing together like personal life, like little details that like it's just distracting. It's about the essence of like North Node Pisces, like your soul, the story with Jupiter in Gemini square that is weaved into the more embodiment essence of your astrology, like of your energy. And it's like the easiest way to like drop out of the narratives, the stories, like the mind's busyness, even if it seems like positive. It's going into the Taurus senses. It's being physical. It's being present in the body, the five senses, but also the six senses, and dropping into like, what is going on in my energy? What's up with me? Like, how am I doing? You know, like self-awareness. This is about your focus, your attention, your energy, because you know the way the energy and the frequencies are now, it can be very symptomatic, very reacting to how we're feeling or sensing or perceiving things. But then also like where we try to maybe escape through media of sorts, or like busy body, South Node Virgo activities to feel better. And then we're just kind of left with this like disjointed karma where we're not feeling fulfilled at the end of the day. And so that Sun Uranus, and then also making that sextile to Saturn is like, hey, come on, you can do it. Like grandfather Uranus, father Saturn's like, you can do it. Just like one foot in front of the other. Like you'll learn a lot more by trying. Like try, do it. It's very much like Luke Skywalker, like lifting the plane out of the swamp. And it's like, stick around for it. Learn from Yoda. Learn from the wisdom of what it is that you're learning in the limited introspective time that I feel like we should all be having right now to like, yeah, get right with our energy, our energetic hygiene, be grounded, you know, make sure that we're not beating our heads against the wall, running the same patterns over and over again that are making us feel stuck and stagnant in chaos. And then that chaos is showing up also in our relationships and our community too, right? But it's more so to kind of like get the vibrational alignment to go into the next step, right? There's a that Jupiter square, that North Node kind of teaches like, okay, it's going to be a little sloppy, especially sextile Chiron. It's going to be a little sloppy. None of this is going to be perfect, but there is a middle ground between forcing things and just like retreating all together and like not taking any action, right? So that's the path of mastery. And so there's no perfect mode of operating other than just like we're getting like the little subconscious clues and symbols and synchronicities or lack thereof, like showing us what's going on in our reality and our energy field to like become a better Jedi master, like at creating. So it's a long way of saying it's not some like just point A to point B process. Like there's going to be conflicts, but it's good to have these conversations like out in the open, like talk about it with people, community, expose the story of like, what is it that you've learned and like the wounds. It's like one of the iterations of Chiron was that it was the Greek centaur that took the sacrificial place of Prometheus that gave fire to the humans. Zeus, which is Jupiter, didn't like that. And so it was going to condemn Prometheus, strip the immortality. Chiron did it instead, lost the immortality, stay behind, help the humans, help them heal, help them learn how to wield fire, right? Give them the opportunity for creation, essentially, right? Because like in the mythology sense, it's like the humans are kind of like damned a little bit, you know, like they're gonna die and they're kind of like stupid, and so we're gonna kind of protect them. And like you gave them fire, that's like giving like a 2-year-old, it's like, you know, learner's permit to drive a car or something, but then not chaperoning them. So it's like, that's where, what do you see like nowadays? It's like, if we like put this in a crazy philosophical practical sense, it's like, this is gonna sound terrible, but it's like, we've all heard it, like we're like, oh man, those people, they're like so in their wounds, like they probably shouldn't have kids. Like they're kind of immature, they're kind of wounded. It's like very Chiron and Gemini, like childish energy. So that sextile with Jupiter, because Jupiter's the only one that can really restore its faith in that Greek centaur, Chiron, to give its immortality back for its service to humanity. We have to be willing to understand where are we at in the story with our wounds, our healing, and bring more awareness, bring more spiritual essence and understanding and talking about these things. Understand where are you at with that? How are you doing? Are you still like getting overwhelmed by triggers? Are you taking action to do the healing and creating a better story in your life, which will shift the circumstances? So it's attitude work, it's mindset work, it's making better choices that raise the vibration, that reduces the stress time of like creating the positive things like in our life, the things that sometimes we don't realize how many things happen with our shit, our wounds, our patterns, our thinking that prevents us from doing the dream, right? Because this is like we're live the dream now, create the dream now. It's not in the future, like it's here now, like we're creating it with the Saturn and Pisces making the sextile over to Sun Uranus. And so, you know, we do this to understand this so that we can be a guiding light for others, so that we could like be that chaperone to help others that are willing to be helped, not forcing the help, not forcing someone to change, or forcing, you know, pretending to be like a guru master level guy, because no one's at that level with these this astrology. No one's there. We're all learning this together, right? We're all like students of this like new energy, and like we can help each other out and have conversations. But it's like when you understand your own victimhood patterns, your own wounds, you pick up the pieces and you understand the philosophical lesson that none of it happened by accident. There was all an intentional divine process to it. And then you can speak to that, like that's helping understand where like you can help others the best. So it's like a lot of the creation energy that's like coming about using our best talents, worth, abilities came from the hard trials and tribulations of the healing work. But then also it's bringing the story of how you got there, some vulnerability, the story of what's going on as a way to help people. So it's about actually infusing the messiness of the human journey into the creation, not trying to make it some immaculate social media, hey, I'm gonna teach you how to get rich or get fucking the best sex of your life or be so powerful, blah, 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 blah. Like all the weird marketing shit that has a lot of karma attached to it with Saturn and Pisces. And so it's about more realness, right? That Venus that's direct in Aries now, it's out of its shadow, making a trine over to that Mars. It's about overcoming just any perpetual ego wounds like drama and actually move forward and be stubborn for this newfound sense of value within ourselves that could be more interdependent in relationships, where it's like, it's not even worried about like a give and take cycle or what's this person doing for me or who's being more selfish or selfless. It's more just about you take action to create the thing that you know is like divinely guided, like within yourself. And when you put that passion, that happiness, that love into this creative energy, it stands to more attract the wealth and prosperity of the things that you like need to like keep the fire and the intensity of that creation like going. So it's not about like, overthinking, like, oh, I don't know if I have the resource, I don't know if I have the abundance, I don't know if I have the prosperity, I don't know if, which is really a long way of saying, I don't know if I have the worth to do it. Because like the worthy ones understand, it's like your worth is inherent, like you're good, you're resourceful, like you'll figure it out. So it's about an expression of that worth, and that's really the glow up energy of the Sun Uranus meeting in Taurus. It's like those are the people that succeed the best this week. That Mercury in Taurus, pretty basic square that Mars Leo, where it's like, it's simple, like just be the dumb cow that like creates, you put your passion, put your energy into stuff, you keep that consistent eye on the prize, you take action, you breathe the passion and stay focused and just starve the distractions. Like the intense creative energy this week, it's an onboarding process, the understanding we're stepping into more masculine energy with all the outer planets eventually positioning themselves in fire and air signs. It's all masculine, right? Like it's already there, but now Saturn's also going to come into Aries on 24th, although it's not considered an outer planet, but Uranus will be in Gemini in July. And so, it's not, we don't need to overthink or strategize. Like we're all kind of feeling our way through this stuff. The worst thing would be to get lost in that old Pisces world of seclusion, of like withholding, being too afraid to like do something. It's like pave the dreams. Don't try to like keep the old machine that created your life in all ways from going off the edge of that cliff at the end of Pisces. Like there is no more road. Like there's nothing to save. It's about creating the dreams and the ethers and connecting with the spiritual piece of it, and then like taking action on it, like having that clarity, that discernment of moving forward on it. It's not going to be perfect, but I mean, I think that we still need to have empathy through all this. I think the secret, is to still have empathy and not just like push or force through all this. But it's not like a weaponized empathy that sometimes you'll see like in the media, where it's like compassion and empathy get like weaponized, like scrutinizing people or groups of people that are being accused of not showing compassion and empathy. It's really just being a role model of it. It's about taking actions that kind of like demonstrate more of that like peace in the central nervous system and that calm energy, but that's like still creative. Like, it's like fireworks. It's like people like it. The best way I know how to describe it too, it's like, it's like one thing I do for people is breath work. It's like, we can get into intense breath work sessions, but the body can still be relaxed while the body is, going through some really intense cycles of breath. So it's like, we need to maintain our body's spiritual frequency temperature, right? It's not about being in fight or flight mode, and afraid of like the uncertainty or what's coming and reaction. Because, as one friend put it a long time ago, that would just teach us that fear works. That fear and scarcity and fight or flight or even freeze, that somehow that works, where it's like we can train our being to like root and ground and go into the senses and go into our inner authority of what it is that we're wanting to do and create next. Because it's not about letting the mind over dictate and over lead this. I would just say to just avoid the drama, avoid the gossip. There can be positive things, breakthroughs, money, relationships.